Today I am going to introduce you to the counseling process and the skills involved therein. First of all, look at this PPT. Let us see what initial rapport formation is all about. You know, when you first make the contact with the client, it may be a referred case by someone else or the client may have come on their own. What happens in the referred case? A referred case, you have a lot of initial information like age of the child, class he is studying in, the achievement level and maybe some more information. For a referred case, you even know what the problem the client is facing or the problem others have mentioned about him or her. Most of the novice counselors about the referred case think that this is the real problem, and in the initial interview itself start talking about the problem and giving suggestions. I want to emphasize that the first problem that the client is reported to have may not be the real problem. So, the counselors have to resist from their usual tendency of giving advice about a problem that is reportedly the client is experiencing. Instead, they have to explore around the problem, collect information from the client about the problem by asking questions, by exploring the various possibilities, what the client feels about the problem. And this is very important, because if you do not ask them questions about the problem, if you do not explore enough, you would not be getting information about the real problem that underlies their reported problem. Let me share a real problem of a girl child with you. This was a girl studying in 8th class. When she came to 9th class, the teacher referred her to counselor. Till the 8th class, the girl was doing very well, but in 9th class her problem aggravated. She stopped achieving high, her grades were falling and she became less and less attentive. This girl was referred to the counselor for poor achievement. Initially, the counselor was talking to her about the achievement part. When the counselor explored and used appropriate counseling skills, it was revealed this child was becoming highly anxious. She was anxious because there were some cousins of hers who were misbehaving with her. These cousins would try to molest her whenever they found her alone. The girl complained to her mother, but her mother, who was a single lady, her husband had expired, was financially dependent on the other family. So, she would not want to broach any issue which will create problem for her, and she told the child to keep quiet about it. The girl was progressively getting anxious, and this anxiety was spoiling her achievement. When she talked to the counselor and counselor intervened, the counselor empowered the girl to talk to her mother about it and encourage the mother also to deal with the issue effectively. The girl felt confident, she spoke to her mother, and gradually the problem was dealt with firmly. So, if the counselor had in the initial interview itself started talking about the achievement issues, study habits and other things, the girl would never reveal her true problem to the counselor. So, it is important that the counselor desists from this tendency of giving advice and suggesting solutions too quickly. Now, the counselors who receive self-referred clients also have a responsibility. They should not believe that what the child who is self-referred, who is coming on their own, is telling is the real problem, because the child is saying so. It is because when we are in a problem, we are not able to think clearly about our problem, and if we are saying we have this problem, there may be deeper layers of other issues which have given rise to this problem. So, the counselor has to talk to the child about the problem. For instance, a child comes and says, I cannot study. So, counselor should not assume the child cannot study because of low IQ, or he lacks concentration, or the child lacks rapport with the teacher. So, this is how the counselors think. They start talking about study habits, or they think that child has low IQ. Our interaction with the novice counselors, training counselors, reveals that counselors feel compelled to give into the client's requests and start talking about the ways in which they can deal with this problem. The counselors have to help the client focus on the problem and try to create an entire scene. Now, what does this mean? This means that the child must be asked about what he or she is doing about this issue themselves, which are the subjects they are good at, which are the subjects they are not good at, and this they can achieve by asking many open-ended questions. Now, what are these open-ended questions? Open-ended questions are those to which a client cannot give yes or no answers. If you ask, are you studying? They will say yes. Are you good at English? Yes. Are you bad at maths? Yes. So, these are closed questions. What are open-ended questions? Open-ended questions are, tell me about how you study. What is your normal schedule of study? Or, are you good in maths? Why do you think you are good in maths, not in English? So, these are few examples of open-ended questions. Look at some more examples of open-ended questions in this PPT. You have seen this PPT, you can practice asking more open-ended questions. Here I will show you a video clip in which a counselor is with a client and she is trying to ask many more open-ended questions, and you will see when she is asking open-ended question, the client is able to talk a little more than normal. So, watch this video.